Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, fundamental shift in education. We're talking about how virtual learning solutions and AI-powered science labs have evolved from, those temporary lockdown fixes we all experienced into permanent, absolutely core components of modern science education. So, if you've ever wondered how we can actually make high-level science accessible to anyone, anywhere, you are definitely in the right place.
So let's just jump right into the core dilemma here. How do you replace hands-on lab work without losing that practical depth? I mean, when the global lockdowns hit, it proved that lectures could move online almost overnight. Zoom was everywhere, right? But educators hit this massive wall trying to figure out how to safely and effectively recreate hands-on science experiences. You can't just read about a complex chemical reaction. You literally need to experience it.
And bridging that physical gap? That's exactly what virtual learning solutions were built to do. They provide a safe, really engaging, and completely repeatable way to practice actual real-world experiments from practically any device. It's this fascinating evolution that took a temporary panic-induced necessity and turned it into an absolute essential for universities going forward.
Which brings us to Section 1, the hands-on science dilemma, where physical meets digital.
Here's the thing. The crucial point is that massive contrast between digital communication and physical interaction. Like I said, moving a lecture to a video call, relatively simple. But recreating a hands-on physical lab? Entirely different ballgame. You can easily talk to a webcam, but you can't exactly hand a remote student a delicate microscope, a live biological sample, or, a beaker of highly volatile chemicals over a Wi-Fi connection. That tactile experiential learning was the missing puzzle piece.
Moving right along to Section 2, defining virtual learning solutions. What actually are these tools?
Well, the definition we're working with is beautifully simple, but it is highly impactful. Virtual learning solutions are essentially digital tools that recreate real classroom and laboratory experiences online. They let students watch, interact, and practice without needing any physical equipment or ever having to make a campus visit. It is literally taking the entire lab environment and putting it right at the student's fingertips, completely removing the physical barriers of a traditional lab space.
And under that broad umbrella, the tech generally breaks down into three main forms. First, you've got your virtual classrooms for live or recorded lectures. Second, the really cool stuff, hands-on virtual laboratories featuring full 3D simulations for science subjects. And third, AI-driven assessment tools that give instant real-time feedback. Together, they just blow the doors wide open for learners everywhere, especially for students in regions where lab funding might be pretty limited.
All right, Section 3, the big four core benefits. Let's look at the tangible advantages here.
First up, we have a massive financial advantage. Institutions are seeing up to a 60% reduction in lab costs. By using simulation-based practice, universities and schools are just completely bypassing the need for expensive physical equipment, constant maintenance, and the crazy consumable expenses of materials that get used up in every single physical experiment.
But it's not just about saving a buck. It's about fundamentally better learning. The educational power here is huge. Students using these interactive simulations are showing learning retention gains of up to 80% compared to passive instruction. When you actually interact with a simulation, when you make the choices and see the direct results, the knowledge sticks in a way that just passively watching a video simply cannot match.
Then we've got benefits 3 and 4, which are all about access and speed. We're talking about baked-in, 24/7 access. Students and instructors are never stuck waiting around for a lab technician, and they aren't limited by building hours. Add to that a totally frictionless rollout. Most institutions can plug these systems right into their existing learning management systems, like Moodle, Canvas, or Blackboard, in under 24 hours. Talk about a quick turnaround.
And the perks specifically for science? Absolutely game-changing. Imagine if you could remove all real-world risks from hazardous chemistry or biology procedures. Boom. Hazard-free safety. On top of that, a single virtual license gives a department infinite equipment access, essentially replacing dozens of physical instruments they might never be able to afford. And crucially, it allows for consistent pre-exam practice. Every single student can repeat the exact same experiment as many times as they need to. Try doing that in a shared physical lab.
Okay, let's look at the business side in Section 4, surging EdTech market growth.
The numbers here are just wild. According to data from verified market reports, the virtual classroom market is projected to absolutely skyrocket. We are looking at a massive jump from $6.5 billion in 2025 to an astounding $15.5 billion by 2034. That is a compound annual growth rate of 10.5%.
And independent research from Technavio backs this up, specifically for science, tracking an 8.57% compound annual growth rate dedicated exclusively to STEM virtual labs between 2026 and 2030. These numbers make it super clear where the growth is concentrated. Institutions are seeing the lower costs, they're seeing the stronger retention, and they are demanding this flexible access.
Let's make this a bit more concrete. Section 5. Inside the PraxiLabs platform, a real-world case study. When you look at PraxiLabs, the scope of what they offer is just massive. We're talking more than 210 science simulations spanning over 20 branches of science. In biology, it covers everything from genetics and microbiology to immunology. Physics gives you thermodynamics, mechanics, and waves. And chemistry spans inorganic, analytical, and organic. With a catalog like that, they are essentially providing an entire standard undergraduate science curriculum fully on demand.
And to actually support a catalog of that size, they've rolled out some truly incredible features. Like Oxy, their AI lab assistant that gives students real-time personalized guidance while they're actually working through an experiment. They've also got a custom quiz builder with automated grading linked right to the simulations, that lightning-fast 24-hour LMS integration we mentioned earlier, and bilingual access in both Arabic and English. This lets institutions serve a mixed-language student body super smoothly, all from one system.
And honestly, the global adoption speaks for itself. Boasting more than 2.5 million active users across over 160 countries and picking up 11 global awards along the way, PraxiLabs proves that structured virtual labs, combined with AI guidance and fast integration, definitively outscore the practical limits of physical-only teaching. This isn't just a niche, fun experiment anymore. It's rapidly becoming the modern standard for science education.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought, a really powerful takeaway from the students themselves. What if the true power of learning is simply the freedom to repeat a dangerous experiment as many times as you need to, safely and entirely without limits? Virtual technology doesn't just replace the physical lab, it democratizes science. It gives everyone the freedom to fail, to practice without burning through crazy expensive materials, and ultimately, to master the complex universe around them. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hey, keep exploring.